Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we'll explore who the Fluke Man is. In the episode The Host, from the second season of The X-Files, we are introduced to biological terror in its most unsettling form through the fearsome Fluke Man. This is not simply an antagonist. It is the living manifestation of a failed genetic experiment, a mutant hybrid that defies all logic of biology and redefines what it means to face a monster in the series. With distorted humanoid features and an almost vertebral structure vaguely reminiscent of a giant worm. The Fluke Man is the result of how radiation can alter and fuse organisms in unimaginable ways, transforming a human being into a lethal parasite. In other words, this creature serves as a reminder that human intervention and environmental negligence can spawn horrors that nature could never have conceived on its own. Its biological composition is utterly aberrant, an anomalous cellular fusion that breaks the laws of genetics, physiology, and reproduction. It is not merely an altered animal. It is a living abomination that resembles a giant worm with enough intelligence to stalk, ambush, and kill. More monster than man, more threat than experiment. The texture of its skin, the way it moves through contaminated water, and its circular teeth that embed with surgical precision in its victims create an almost tangible level of horror, heightened by the damp, dark atmosphere of the tunnels and sewers it inhabits. The Flukeman's origin is as terrifying as its appearance. It all begins on an old decommissioned Russian ship used as a storage site for radioactive waste from the Chernobyl disaster. There, a worker named Gregory becomes trapped in a drainage tank, simultaneously exposed to parasites and intense radiation. This fatal encounter not only transforms his body, but also corrupts his humanity, giving rise to a being that is both victim and executioner. The Fluke Man thus becomes a grotesque symbol of the dangers of pollution, negligence, and human experiments that defy ethics and nature. Tension escalates when the ship, anchored near the coast of New Jersey, becomes the scene of the creature's first open attack. Dmitri, a young engineer sent to inspect and repair the ship's damage, comes face to face with the Fluke Man. The scene is chilling. The monster drags him toward the toxic water tank, while the crew watches helplessly, unable to intervene, leaving an unsettling silence that foreshadows the arrival of horror in the city. Taking advantage of torrential rains that cause flooding, the Fluke Man manages to infiltrate New Jersey's drainage system. It carries contaminated water that not only threatens public health, but also transforms the sewers into its lethal territory. In Newark, two workers are performing maintenance in a sewer. One of them, Craig, removes a piece of wood blocking the pipe and is immediately attacked by the creature. The Flukeman's circular teeth pierce his flesh with a wet, horrifying sound, severely wounding him. His companion manages to rescue him just in time by throwing a rope, while Craig barely has time to process what happened, believing he was bitten by a giant snake. The horror continues to escalate when Dimitri's body is discovered, a silent reminder of the monster's strength and predatory intelligence. Agent Mulder, tasked with investigating the unexplainable, visits Craig in the hospital. The worker describes a strange sensation in his mouth and difficulty swallowing, symptoms that initially seem harmless until the doctor confirms the unthinkable. The bite mark of the humanoid parasite on his back is unmistakable. The Fluke Man has not only attacked, but has left its mark, ensuring that the threat will not end there. The creature, a mutant hybrid born from human disaster and radiation, has infiltrated the city, and the true terror is just beginning. With its blend of science, horror, and environmental commentary, the Fluke Man stands as one of the X-Files' most iconic monsters, a visceral reminder that the worst horrors do not always come from the supernatural. Sometimes they are born from our own mistakes and the irresponsible exploitation of nature. Mulder begins formulating a hypothesis that sends chills down the spine. What is happening in Newark is not the work of a common animal or a disturbed human being, but of an unknown entity, a monster that defies any scientific explanation. Beyond the natural, a biological hybrid acting with predatory intelligence. For the moment, it is nothing more than speculation based on fragments of evidence and incomplete accounts, but enough to set off all alarms within the FBI and raise the possibility of a much deeper and more terrifying danger. Meanwhile, Craig is discharged from the hospital after his first encounter with the Fluke Man, but the story is far from over. Back at home, a constant sense of discomfort and itchiness in his mouth torments him. Brushing becomes an obsessive ritual. He uses excessive amounts of toothpaste and water, trying to eliminate an invisible presence that seems to be growing inside him. The tension escalates when, after an apparently normal brushing session, he spits out a thread of fresh blood, a chilling reminder that something lethal is developing inside his body. Paranoia takes hold. Every minor sensation becomes a warning sign, every ache a harbinger of death. The horror reaches its climax when, during a bath, Craig experiences something straight out of a bodily nightmare. He violently expels one of the Flukeman's larvae from his body, implanted through the parasite's bite. The creature, alive and pulsating, emerges as a grotesque testament to the biological power of its progenitor. The shock and trauma are immediate. Craig's body cannot withstand it, and he dies almost instantly. This event makes clear the parasitic and absolutely lethal nature of the Fluke Man. It not only attacks physically, but reproduces inside its victims, ensuring that its legacy of terror continues even after an encounter. The Fluke Man does not take long to reappear. This time, the setting is the Newark wastewater treatment plant. Charlie, an experienced worker, spots it swimming among the dark, contaminated tanks. With quick reflexes and a mix of courage and desperation, he manages to contain it inside a large, transparent tube, a feat that seems to defy the chaos the creature generates around it. His supervisor and Agent Mulder are called to the scene. The tension is palpable as they approach the monster, with the suspicion that perhaps, just perhaps, they have captured the one responsible for the attacks that have terrorized the city. The creature is transferred to the Essex County Psychiatric Hospital and confined in a specially reinforced room designed to contain dangerous humans, although no one had anticipated something like the Fluke Man. Mulder takes the opportunity to show the monster to Scully. At first, she cannot distinguish its shape among the tubes and shadows of the facility. The psychological fear grows, while the creature remains partially hidden. When she finally sees it face to face, terror paralyzes her. The sight of that hybrid body, its slimy skin, its circular teeth, and its almost human but empathy-free gaze is an image that is indelibly etched into her memory. Meanwhile, Walter Skinner, Mulder's supervisor at the FBI, is forced to coordinate with federal prosecutors on how to handle the situation. The Department of Justice decides to transfer the Fluke Man to a medical facility for a safer evaluation. Mulder insists vehemently. It's not a human being, it's a monster, but his warnings are dismissed. During the transfer in a special ambulance, the creature demonstrates its strength and cunning. It breaks free from its restraints, kills the officers guarding it, and disappears in a sequence combining terror, tension, and pursuit. The city seems to have become a deadly playground where the Fluke Man holds the advantage. Mulder tracks the monster to the very pipes where Dimitri's body was found, deducing its ultimate goal: to return to the ocean. Alongside the plant foreman, he inspects the pipes as tension rises with every step. Suddenly, the Fluke Man brutally attacks the foreman, submerging him in contaminated water and demonstrating its superhuman strength. Mulder fires with precision while trying to save the worker's life, and after a tense, physical confrontation, manages to close a heavy, rusted metal gate, preventing the creature from reaching the ocean. The Fluke Man is split in two, apparently destroyed. a moment of apparent relief for Mulder and those present. However, the nightmare does not end. During the night, signs of life emerge from the torso and head, revealing that the creature possesses the ability to regenerate, even when mutilated and stripped of limbs. This detail amplifies the psychological terror. What seemed like a victory may only be a temporary delay before the monster stalks again. The episode concludes with this unsettling scene, leaving the viewer with a lingering sense of horror. Later, a newspaper, the World Weekly Informer, reports the Flukeman's reappearance and its eventual discovery lifeless in Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. An illustration of the monster accompanies the news, confirming that, although it managed to regenerate, its time at large was not as devastating as feared. Nevertheless, the threat of creatures like the Fluke Man, born from human negligence and pollution, remains a chilling reminder that the deepest horrors can emerge from our own mistakes. In a later episode of The X-Files titled The Field Where I Died, there is a direct reference to the Fluke Man that underscores its lasting impact. Scully confesses to Mulder that, of all the days she has worked over the past several years, the only one she would change is the one related to this creature's case. This simple statement conveys a profound message. The Fluke Man is not just another monster in the series. It is a traumatic event that left an indelible mark on the investigators, a reminder that some horrors have the power to alter human perception of reality and safety for years. Having explored its history and origin, it is time to delve into what truly makes the Fluke Man terrifying. Its physical appearance, its almost supernatural abilities, and the creative vision behind its conception. Every detail of its anatomy seems designed to provoke both revulsion and fascination simultaneously, blending the human with the parasitic in disturbingly perfect proportions. The Fluke Man has a predominantly humanoid form, roughly the size of an average adult man, but any comparison to a human ends there. Its skin, a pale yellowish tone that can appear almost white under certain lights, is wrinkled and weathered, with a cadaverous appearance reflecting the years it has spent submerged in stagnant, contaminated water. Every fold and line seems to tell the story of its transformation, a silent testament to the damage caused by radiation and mutation. Its large green eyes, with a reptilian glint, convey the gaze of an ancient, calculating, and cold predator. There are no traces of humanity in them, only the instinctive intelligence of a hunter designed to stalk and destroy. Its nose is practically non-existent, and its ears have been replaced by large openings that function as auditory organs adapted to the aquatic environment, granting it acute sensory perception both on land and underwater. The true horror is concentrated in its circular mouth, a hole perfectly designed for predation, with 4 prominent fangs on the lips and numerous small spikes inside, capable of sucking the blood of its victims while simultaneously injecting parasitic larvae into their bodies. The idea of being attacked by such a mouth, combining the mechanism of a parasite with the strength of a predator, elevates the Fluke Man from monster to living nightmare. Physiologically, the Fluke Man is a unique aberration. It combines the structure of a primate or human with the biology of a parasite, resulting in a creature that is both amphibious and lethal. Among its abilities are superhuman strength, capable of effortlessly dragging an adult man, even while struggling in water, exceptional speed and endurance, moves easily in both aquatic and terrestrial environments, making it a versatile and relentless predator. Regeneration, can rapidly heal wounds and reconstruct lost limbs, making it nearly impossible to stop permanently. Its most disturbing attack combines blood feeding with the injection of flatworm larvae. The larvae develop inside the host, feeding on its blood and emerging, often through the mouth, causing symptoms such as persistent bad taste, irritation, and difficulty swallowing. The parasitic nature of the Fluke Man turns each victim into a potential carrier, a reminder that the horror does not end with the first assault. Although if the larvae are removed in time, the victim might survive, the process is traumatic and terrifying. The Fluke Man reproduces asexually. Like other flatworms, the larvae it injects do not evolve into another Fluke Man, but remain dependent on the host's blood. This is confirmed in Dimitri's autopsy, where Scully observes that the worms, though well-fed, did not mutate, reinforcing that the Fluke Man is a unique product of radiation-induced mutation and human experimentation, a grotesque fusion of human and parasite that defies nature. The original concept of the Fluke Man comes from Chris Carter, the creator of the series. The idea arose from his interest in parasitic worms affecting his sick dog and his research into the effects of Chernobyl radiation on local wildlife. Although some producers questioned whether a half-man, half-worm mutant would work on television, Carter passionately defended his vision, insisting that the creature needed to convey both biological horror and grotesque scientific realism. Over time, the Fluke Man became one of the X-Files' most iconic monsters, representing universal fears: human vulnerability to the invisible, contamination lurking in forgotten places, and the constant danger of the unknown emerging right beneath our feet. It inhabits sewers, drainage systems, and stagnant waters, reminding us that what we do not see can be far more terrifying than what we think we know. Its legacy endures in the series, not just as an enemy Mulder and Scully faced, but as a symbol of the horror that human negligence can unleash.